flat bottom boards or do you use screen bottom boards?
So I use flat, the solid bottom boards. I use a solid bottom board. So the screen bottom board isn't all that it pretends to be. There may be some good things about it if you're going to monitor mites, for example, is one of the reasons why that really became popular, because you can put a tray underneath there and you can count the mites that fall down, or you can look at the debris that's coming off of the cluster. But it can be a problem too if it's too cold outside. That creates too much of a draft. So the bees like to close up their hive. I'm taking some cues here from the honeybees themselves, and with a solid bottom board and an entrance like we have, it's 3/8 of an inch all the way across, still the bees want to propolis that up. So if you have a bottom board that's screened and it's all the way open, it's just too much surface for them to cover up with propolis if they want to reduce the entrance and the airflow around it. Right? So the bees are good at regulating the temperature and the humidity inside of their hive, and if we have a bottom board that's clear open, they can't do it. Whatever the temperature is outside, they're going to have to struggle to keep the core of the brood nest the temperature they want, and forget about the rest of the hive. Right? They don't always need to keep the entire inside of the hive the same temperature as the core of the brood nest, but it'll make it easier for them if they can reduce the entrance down. It makes it easier for them to heat the hive, and it makes it easier for them to cool the hive. Right? So I'm going to let the bees, I'm taking my orders from the bees here. They want to shut down my upper entrances. They're usually propolizing those over. Right? Everybody says you need upper entrance for ventilation. Well, maybe not. The bees don't seem to agree with that. They propolize them shut quite frequently, and they'll reduce the bottom entrance closed until you've got maybe an inch of space for them to come and go. Okay. And so I'm just going to do what the bees want here, and not use screen bottom boards, and maybe put that entrance reducer in there. And if they get too hot in there and they can't keep it cool, they might have to reduce the brood they're raising. I don't know. And then they're going to come out and hang out on the porch, and they could be bearded outside the hive if they're too hot. But I'm not going to think I know more about what they want as far as circulation in there and the temperature inside there. I'm just going to let them do it as if they were living in a hollow log. Okay. If they chose their spot to live in, right, and they chose it because they knew that they would have the egress the size they wanted and where they wanted. So I'm going to try and mimic what they want, and do my best not to tell the bees. Let's move on.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You were talking about the entrance reducer.
Yeah.
I had an entrance reducer on mine, and then when they started bearding around the outside, I removed it because I thought maybe the entrance is too small and
right.
they were getting too hot.
Yeah.
And they have not been bearding since I took that out. So I feel like that was a good call, but is that
might have been
fit with what you were just saying?
Yeah, it does fit with what I'm saying. So, but if the bees were to propolize the entrance up and they needed more room, they could remove that propolis and increase
on their own.
Yeah, they can't take out your entrance reducer.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So they can do it on their own. So you did it for them, and it was probably the right time for them. It seemed that's what they needed then.
Sounds like you did the right thing.
Okay.
Yep.